Who's driving?
Upon arrest,
Do you have any idea where you are right now?
it's hard to have the courage of one's convictions
Have you slide on in here, man?
when so many of one's convictions involve felonies.
One more going to prison.
For what? You on parole right now?
Yeah.
Are you?
Surprised,
What are you on parole for?
DUI, actually.
Oh, okay.
August Romero was not. 7 priors prior to this one in 2022 left him in a perpetual state of deja vu.
Sam, down your knees.
Arrest, conviction, parole, new arrest.
January 22nd, 2024, I'm speaking with Mr. August Romero.
Last year, he told the parole board
I just gotta stay motivated and focused, you know.
the cycle was over. He was ready to change. Upon release, a parole officer seemed to agree. Low risk to reoffend, he concluded in this assessment. And then, 8 days later,
What started out as a hit and run is now a homicide investigation.
the low-risk offender, according to Westminster Police, intentionally ran over a man named Robbie Valenzuela.
I'm angry. But I know he wouldn't want me to be angry. But his life was taken way too soon by someone that didn't deserve to be out here in society.
Yvette Valenzuela
He's a lovable guy.
and Robbie's best friend Vince Rodriguez knew the man accused was on parole, but they did not know until we showed them what we found in an open records request.
2022, 7 points.
That low-risk score wasn't just inaccurate, it was also the byproduct.
I don't understand how a person goes from such high points to low points.
The byproduct of at least 13 individual mistakes that turned a consistently high-risk offender into a low-risk parolee.
I have lots of anger. I absolutely do. I have a lot of anger. It's difficult to wake up every day and know that he's no longer here because he had so much more to go.
When it comes to risk, it's up to Colorado parole officers to keep score. Each one of the 8,000 plus on parole here gets one. This score dictates one of 3 risk levels: low, medium, or high.
Now you got a parole warrant that came out after our warrant.
For 1 year, whenever a parolee got into trouble, 9 News Investigates asked for and received copies
You may have a warrant, right? Yeah. You know what it's for? Running for parole?
of the risk assessments used to determine their scores.
What's your name, man?
Vincenzo.
We examined more than 3 dozen case files of parolees accused of high-profile, often violent crimes. Within thousands of questions, we found hundreds of errors. Errors we now know led to inadequate levels of supervision.
Having an assessment that's inaccurate is maybe more dangerous than not doing an assessment at all.
Brian Lovins helped create the very assessments Colorado uses to help the state's Department of Corrections determine the risk levels of its parolees. Simply put, the assessments rely on a series of simple questions. Questions like, how many prior adult felony convictions? What's your highest level of education? Any past drug use or gang membership?
It's an assessment that helps us identify who needs more services and where those services could land to be most effective.
Questions lead to points. The points add up to the score. The higher the score, the higher the risk. Lovins likens the assessments to a doctor's diagnosis. You don't want to get them wrong.
It sets up every other interaction and intervention within our system. And so if we get the wrong assessment, we're doing the wrong surgery.
These are the 2 assessments.
And the sheer volume of mistakes we found left some state legislators wondering if we weren't just talking about one bad surgery,
This puts our entire state at risk.
but the correctional equivalent
Does that make sense?
No.
of medical malpractice.
This is a problem, is it not?
This looks like a problem. This looks like a really scary problem.
It is a really scary problem, one that's gotten the attention of a lot of legislators and people around the state. We actually talked to the governor last week about this very problem. This problem isn't going away, and we've been looking at these assessments for about a year now, dozens of them. We found errors everywhere.
When you talk about this, you have been able to kind of almost train yourself. You said how to find these cases, but you have how many parole officers out there trying to learn this?
Well, a lot, and we've got roughly 8,000 people on parole in the state of Colorado right now. We've been looking at the assessment scores of a few dozen of them. This really started with a man by the name of Vincenzo Moscoso, who was still accused of murdering 2 people a couple years ago in northeastern Colorado. We found out pretty early on that his parole assessments were done incorrectly. The state now has done an internal audit of that assessment and a number of other assessments and found, yeah, we were right. They were doing them incorrectly. Doesn't mean that the murders don't happen, but it does mean that they're under less supervision at the time they commit the murders, and that's the problem.
And what kind of rate are they getting these wrong at?
Interesting that you should ask that, because just recently the state released to us an internal audit that said they looked at the assessment scores of roughly 45 parolees. They found an error rate of 98%.
Oh, that's awful.
They scored 2%. They scored 1 out of 45 correct.
And as you say, that doesn't immediately correlate to one of these cases. However, it does match the level of supervision that you get.
The lower the risk, this all makes sense. The lower the risk, the lower the amount of supervision. You're seen by your parole officer less, you're drug tested less. You can go months without being seen by a parole officer, which is precisely the amount of time that somebody often needs to start to spiral. They'll start using drugs again, start doing minor crimes, and then sometimes these big crimes happen. And that's what we've seen over and over again. And that's why at least it's finally at the point where the state is admitting it has a problem, which is the first step.
That's the first step, correct.
Right.
And now they can
Change
fix it.
can't happen soon enough. That's
Right, and while they're retraining officers and trying to figure this out, there are still assessments that are out there that are...
These assessments are done on parolees. There's 8,000 people on parole. They're supposed to be done roughly every 6 months. So it means that somebody on parole, even if they do it correctly, we may not know that they were scored incorrectly for 6 months. That's a problem too.
Well, we know you have much more this week.
Much more this week.
Thank you, Chris.
You bet.